A Tattered Bunny, influenced, inspired by Luise Heinzl. So yes, this journal that you see before you is completed to the point where I feel really good about it. And
A Tattered Bunny, influenced,
I
inspired
need to
by
turn my volume off.
Luise Heinzl. So yes, this.
So I'm going to put it to the side, but before I do that, I want to do a flip through. Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Theresa, and this is April 21st. It's 8:40 p.m. I've been doing my videos a little later lately, and but I just have been bitten by the crafting bug. So, trying to force myself to stay focused on what I'm supposed to do and then what I want to do, which is this. There have been some changes since I last gave a peek at this journal and what I've been doing with it. I added some more embellishment on the front cover, such as the tattered flower and a laundry tag and a military laundry pin. I think I'm pretty much done with the journal cover. So like I said, I love this book because it has an inscription here for 1924. I just love any kind of personalization on my original ephemera like that. This page, I practiced the technique that Luise shows in her video, and that involves using matte photo paper, and then you take a stamp or like a leaf, like you would do with eco printing and that stuff, sort of thing. You put ink on it, distressed ink on there, and you spray the paper with water, and then you spray the stamp or image that you're stamping with water, and you press it down. And she put weights on top of hers. I don't have weights, so I just held it down very firmly with my hand, and you get this type of impression. So this was a dragonfly fussy cut. I keep saying fussy cut. This was a dragonfly die cut. This was one of my die cuts from the Something Garden stamp set that I have, and all of the rest of this was too. And then this is just a little dangle that I made a long time ago, and I probably will put a charm there. And so we've got this belly band, and I haven't put anything in there. I'm just going to grab something to put in there for the moment so that I remember. So how's everyone doing? I hope you're doing well. It's too tall. That's perfect. I like that a lot. hope you all had a great Easter yesterday. I'm gonna have to back that. But I like it sticking out like that. So here we have a side tuck. And it doesn't appear to have anything in it either. There we go. Just using some of the journal cards. Some of my piano paper that is like onion paper. I just put that in there for decoration. Some old organ paper, very old organ paper. A printable printed out on ledger paper. And then this is one of my scrappy collage strips. This is an old document that I purchased from Roxy's Creations. Oh, I didn't realize I had. Okay, so this is one of my scrappy strips. This is one of my masking tape collage strips that I did yesterday for crafting around the house. This is some of my number page, my statistical book. You've got a pocket here and a pocket here. Some beautiful old music paper from 1928. Just a painted scrap. And here's a little tag that I turned into a tuck using some of my one of my flowers that I did from Luise's master class, and that's using that same technique. So this is a die cut that I just laid down a couple different times, and because my images didn't come out as cool as Luise's did, what I did was I put one of my scrappy flowers on top of it. So it's kind of supposed to look like a flower with a garden of flowers behind it. You have to have my eye for this to basically know what the heck you're looking at. But I had fun, and that's what counts. I did stagger my pages in this signature. Here's a corner tuck that is also a writing spot. This is not working real well. I'm gonna have to come up with a different plan for that because it pulls on the lace. I could, actually, it could go like this, because it's a tuck spot. There. I should use a smaller paper clip though. I'm going to grab one of my smaller rusted paper clips. This is the other side of that old document. I can't read Italian, so I don't know what this is, but it's got this cool receipt looking thing, this very nice paper. You have to touch it to realize how wonderful it is, and it has stamps on it. You'll see another of those pages. They're big pages, so I folded it up and made a pocket with that. Here's another side tuck with a journal card, And this is another one of those images that I did with the technique. So that one, I just kind of followed what it looked like to me. So the idea when you do this on the paper is that you cut it out in a way that you see something. You see something in the stamping. It's like a hidden picture. So if you're stamping with a butterfly, you might cut into other parts of the copy. So like this is, say this is a full-size digital, and I stamp with the technique with the water and the ink on it. Then when it's done and dry, I look at it and try to see flowers or plants in it. So this is what I saw. I saw a bouquet of flowers, and so I took a white pen and I just did some little white dots to make it look like the pistils inside of the stamens inside of a flower. So some of these circles are from hole reinforcements that I use to make the image, and then this is a oh, I wonder if I got a piece of it. I don't. Let's see if I got a piece over here. Nope, I don't. But like this flower that I cut out. Hello, Crafting with Love. Thanks for joining me. This looked like a flower here, and so I just added some fussy cuts, abstractly laying them down to kind of make it look like the bottom of the flower, and just the stuff that comes up on a flower. Boy, I'm not describing very well tonight. Very abstract. It's like a baby only a mother could love. So when I see what I've done in this journal, I know what I saw and what my intention was, and I really do love it. So because this was such an old piece of paper and there was some tearing on it, I just took and put a tall tag here. Thank you, Crafting with Love, as a side tuck, and this one is just reinforcement. I just glued it down, and then I used some Tim Holtz tape to further reinforce it. This is a file that's one of the ephemera pieces in the kit, one of the kits. This is one of my faux rusted elements that I made, and I took this word and I cut it up and then glued it onto the rusted element, so it says filed on there. And then this is some of my rust paper, and I just put an image in one of my scrappy flowers on there. And this is some fabric, not fabric, textile that I had that I grunged up quite a bit. So one of the other techniques that Luise talks about in her videos is faux layering paper, I believe is what the video is titled. And it involves, I'm just going to lay that there to hold that paper down. Well, that's not going to work. This involves cutting a slit or several slits in the paper where you see the shading, where you see the shadow. And I put a slit there, and I think I put another slit here. Yeah, so right there I put a tab. So that's a tab. Let me hold that closer. And then there's some fabric stuck in there, and these are different sheets of paper that just give it a little, again, abstract composition that just kind of looks cool. I think so. I dyed all my ribbons with the colors that are included in the journal, such as frayed burlap. I'm thinking the newest one, which is scorched timber and walnut stain, I believe is what the other one is called. And then I always use vintage photo to ink. Here's another one of my scrappy collage strips, and I wanted to do something a little different for this journal card, so I colored this journal card with the watercolor pencils first, and then I laid down some glazes, which I think this is like barn door, and this is citrus citron or something like that. And then I just backed it with some very, very old vintage book page, and I didn't want to trim that off because it's old book page. I had a lot of fun laying down different elements for these scrappy strips. This is just a little wraparound, and so I have just a little scrap in there and a little ticket in there, and then one of my scrappy flowers. Here's a distressed butterfly that I used alcohol inks on, trying to stay within that color scheme. This one, I have a couple of eyelets up here, so I just put a little key charm up there at the top, just as decorative embellishments. Another pocket with a journal card, some vintage music paper, pocket with a couple of tags that I used, some Tim Holtz electric, what would you call that? It's kind of like a ribbon, but it's used to wrap around the fabric that you can buy. And so I have a big long strip of this I bought one of the fabric packs, and so I can use that for further embellishing. Just some Amazon paper, and then I have a top corner tuck here and a bottom corner tuck here. This is one of the pieces of ephemera, really cute little slide type piece. I used a lot of the background pages from Roxy's Creation Journal Kit. I think it's called background papers, I might be wrong. Here's another tattered flower with a little clock embellishment in the center, my dyed ribbon, an empty pocket, but I'm out of stuff. That's okay, not every pocket, or maybe I'm not. I don't think I like that. Here's some tea-dyed paper. These images are just beautiful. Here's a side tuck that I made. I think this print was from the paper cameo. I used some of hers too. Yeah, I used some of hers from the Divinity kit. Blue lace, I think, is what I used. There's another one of my abstract images. See, I see just a bunch of little flowers there. And then this is from my strip that I made yesterday. And this is the back side of some vintage wallpaper, so I just did some background stamping. There's the other side of that wallpaper. Very pretty, very vintage looking. A page from an Edith Holden book. There's another scrappy collage strip. And when these are made, they're made, you take a piece of a digital and tear it in half and then build the strips, and then when you're done you basically tear it in half again, so anything that kind of gets pulled off or bent or whatever, that's how it's supposed to look. This gets roughed up, it gets inked, and it's just supposed to look really scrappy. Here's a piece of straw paper that I just, folded in a little bit and sewed it just to give it some character. And then I made a little tab and attached a laundry tag with an eyelet. Another scrappy flower. This is a belly band. I tell you what, I would love to have a digital with just that pattern of her dress. I just love it. Now I'll be doing some more things, like maybe putting some more eyelets or tag toppers and stuff like that, but I really knew that once I got to a point where I wasn't feeling so obsessed and driven about doing this journal, that I wanted to slow down and just put it to the side, and as I see cool ideas, I'll come back and maybe add to it. Not a lot, because it is an alligator mouth. It's got just about as much stuff in it as it can have. There's another side tuck with that label filed that comes in the ephemera kit. This is Luise's, I think this is called White Embroidery. It's a kit. So I purchased a total of, well, I already had the white embroidery. I purchased that for Defember. So I used that kit. I used the journal pages and ephemera kit, and there's another one that is journal pages and ephemera, which is the black and white. I purchased that, and then I purchased, I just went blank. I think I purchased one more kit. So I used a total of 4 of Luise's kits in this journal, 3 of which I purchased. And then I already had digitals from Roxy's Creations and the paper cameo. Now this is another page that I did the faux layering in it. So you can see that this was cut like this. It's supposed to blend in as much as possible. And there's a layer there and a layer there and a layer there. There's some tags or labels sticking out. And it was fun trying to follow along with Luise's techniques. Hello, Tony. Welcome. This is just a little, I don't know, tab that I made out of craft paper. And I just stuck that journal card in there. Here's some cabbage dyed paper that I wanted to make this wraparound side tuck to reinforce this music paper. This is actually an image from Roxy's Creations, and I thought it was just perfect for this journal. Thank you, Tony. There's some more tags. This one I just used some like ribbon that looks like measuring tape. And this is part of the stuff that I made yesterday. This is just an envelope that isn't even glued together yet. It's just kind of hanging out, waiting for further inspiration. I will get a paper clip and put that up there. I'm not even sure I'm going to glue it together. Here's another old, this is actually like a file folder, for lack of knowing. It was like a file folder cover that was over the documents that I used, like this document here. And there were about 3 documents stapled into this cover. And so I took it all apart and made this into a page. Needed some reinforcement, so I used some Tim Holtz aged tape. And this, these images are printed on, oh, I want to look at what the weight is. Let's see. I actually went with this matte photo paper because it was like $6 for 50 sheets, which was cheaper than the other one I was looking at. And it is 45 pounds or 170 GM. So it's, I would say it's a little bit heavier than Stampin' Up! Designer Series paper, but less than cardstock, or even, I don't think it's as heavy as, say, Tim Holtz scrapbook paper, but it's not bad for using for journal cards all on its own. This pocket is just a little tight. So I put that little pocket on this Florentine paper that I got from Roxy's Creations. And so anything from Roxy Creations is from Italy. Here's just a piece of ledger paper that I did a gel print with. And then this is some old paper that I embossed. And then one of the tags in the ephemera kit. Hello, Juanette, welcome. Here's another one of those documents from Italy. I've got a top corner tuck and a bottom corner tuck, and one of my grunged up elements that I did. So I just took one of my faux rust pieces that had been cut out into a tab and put an eyelet in there and put that on the pocket. And that's on straw paper from Italy. Top corner tuck, bottom corner tuck, and just a little clock element sewn into that top corner tuck. That I just got a bunch of these elements from Amazon. I don't think they're Tim Holtz specific. I think they're just clock charts. There's another scrappy collage strip. And these are Polaroid ephemera pieces that are in the kit, and I backed that with vintage book page. Actually, I think that's scraps from that file folder that I showed you a little bit ago. I'm not going to find it. I love these background papers from Roxy's creation. She has some of the most fantastic digitals, and they're some of the digitals that I go back to and use over and over again. I highly recommend these digitals if you're interested. Here's some more tea-dyed paper. And there's another one of those documents that has stamps, and like I said, I can't read Italian, so I'm not really sure what this type of document is for and how it's used in its original for its original use. This is another one of those pages that I started on this side, so her video calls it faux layering, and I cut strips. I looked for shadows because these digitals, many of them were built with layering involved, and so the process, the technique is to find those shadows. Like she even took this shadow here and did something with it, but I was very cautious when I did this. So I have one cut here, and I thought I had two cuts, but I only see one. So I put a tab there, and then there's some labels, and then I cut the beaks so that they would layer on the pieces that I stuck in there. And then on the other side, you can see some more of where that cut was, and I put tabs over on this side, and I turned this in, and I used, this is actually a die cut from my Stampin' Up! Days. It's a frame that was cut out on some of the metallic paper, and I used Italian. I used alcohol ink to grunge it up and make it, you know, less bright. It's still kind of bright, but I like how the colors go well with this side of the page. And then I used one of my scrappy flowers. And what was really cool is when this is actually from Stampin' Up! Daisy Punch. It was some scrap I had. And so I took some fussy cut, the outside of the fussy cuts. So, not fussy cut. I keep saying fussy cut instead of, oh, Jiminy's, die cut pieces. So, something was die cut out of this paper. So I took those kind of things and I layered them underneath flowers to give it different dimension and different composition. And when I did this one, the bottom layer is just some lacy fabric. This one, it looks like a bird to me. And so I just really love it. Of course, this is something else that it's a baby only mother would love. I can see it, and maybe not everybody else can see that bird sitting there. And then, so there's a tab there and a tab there, and then just different places where a person could tuck things in. There's the other side of that gel print, just scrunched it up here. This is another lovely background from Roxy's Creation Digital. And I made this in about 2 or 3 videos ago. And I just called the video a different kind of side tuck. Aw, I'm so glad you can see the bird. I can see the bird. And so I used a Tim Holtz frame. This is an old die cut that I had hanging out in my stash. And it's what I used to make that image right there using Luise's technique. So when I was done, I had this dragonfly die cut that looked like that. So I used that to embellish here. Started off with a layer of vintage hymnal music paper. Put in a couple of eyelets so that it's a side tuck. Then I put the Tim Holtz frame. Before I put the Tim Holtz frame on there, I put a little piece of digital from Line Dot Arrow right there, and then I put the dragonfly on. And these are some snippets from Line Dot Arrow. All these are, I think I got this beautiful little piece of trim from Rachel. And then these are some numbers that I had in my snippet stash. Some Tim Holtz people. And then I just made a journal card, and one, I think you'll recognize that book page paper. I believe I got that from you. I didn't feel like making this a writing spot on the back. I wanted to do something different because technically a person could write some notes right here on this side of the card. And then another piece of little Florentine. There's the other side of that. I keep calling it a file folder because I don't know what else to call it. It's a cup. It's a thicker, heavier duty, very old piece of vintage paper that was used to hold those documents. And then just journal card there. And I used some Tim Holtz fabric for the inside of the binding, for the hidden binding. And it's a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And I wanted to do 3 signatures, and I thought that I would be able to keep it confined. I mean, because I wanted to use the original binding, so I was trying not to get too chunky, but it's a little chunky. But I love it. I love the feel of it. I love how much of the original shape that I kept the journal in, and it was deteriorated right here, so that's why I took this little piece of Tim Holtz fabric and put that over there. And then I wanted this, oh, I see what's going on here. That's supposed to go this way. I wanted this to kind of look like a nest, because the kit incorporates mainly bunnies with quite a few birds, and you see bunnies with eggs, so therefore you have to have bunnies in a nest. That's Theresa thinking for you. And so I wanted this to kind of look like a nest. I wanted this to kind of look like a memory box. I've got curio cabinet, memory box, shadow box. That's the word I wanted. I wanted this to look like a shadow box. This is a digital from Line Dot Arrow is where I got the box from. And then I have, oh, I already talked about that. And there's a little strip of trim that I got, but I don't know where I got that from. So it's so fun to hold on to your bits and bobs. This is what I was trying to describe right here, is this element right here. This is from an old Stampin' Up! Die cut. It's from like a dandelion kit. And I just cut that off, and I use that for the middle of a flower. But that's, where did, oh, I'll never find it. But anyways, I was showing you another place and saying that's how I got the image with that special effect. Yeah, I'll never find it. So that is my journal. It's in a good place as far as I'm concerned. And someday I may go back into it and add some bits and bobs and do some more finishing touches to it. But I am super pleased with this journal. I did, the December Ember journal in December, and I was so pleased with that journal too. Luise Heinzl has such inspiring videos. Now, the thing is that you have to enjoy grunge and the type of techniques that she does. It's kind of like mad science, and I actually very much do enjoy that type of thing. Like, her idea was to take an image and stamp a label on the image, and then cut the rest of the face and the ears out. I've never seen anyone do anything like that. And I was just at a time in my life where I was basically getting bored of the videos that I've watched in the past, and I just kept looking for new videos, new concepts, new ideas. And Luise does a really good job of thinking outside of the box and switching things around and getting abstract and getting a little crazy and junk journal science. And it just really inspired me and was a heck of a lot of fun. So, and I don't mind getting dirty. I finally got my hands somewhat clean. But yeah, that's what that's about. I think my next journal is going to be one that's inspired by Carol Laws. She's doing a grungy journal right now, and she's using old shop digitals from a gal it's called Old Shop, SHOPPE, on Etsy. And I've already got her digitals in my shopping cart, and I just need to go through my stuff and look for another cover. If I'm not trying to retain the binder, I won't do, I think this is 1.5 inches. Yeah, this is 1.5 inches. I won't do anything less than 2 inches, because at 3 signatures, I'm packed and I'm feeling hesitant about putting more stuff in this. So if I do a journal where I'm making my own binding, I will go with at least a minimum of 2 inches. And I think that will allow me to stay safe and have a good time. I think I did that with my baby journal that I did for my granddaughter, who's about 3 months old now. And I did a soft spine, hidden spine journal for her with maybe a Reader's Digest book or something like that. But that's what I've got for you tonight. I'm out of breath. I've talked so much. Thanks for hanging out with me. Oh, I just looked over at my subscribers, and I must have picked up a new subscriber recently. I like it when I get to even numbers. So it's showing me 550 subscribers right now. So woohoo, 50 more and I'll get to 600. And when I get to 600, then I'll need to do something really special, like one of my paper packs that have a lot of vintage documents in it and really fun, different stuff in them. If you're ever interested in anything like that, head on over to my Ko-fi store and look at what de-stash items I have there. So these are all things that I bought because I like them and I want to use them in my journals, but then I end up with extra and I need to de-stash a bit so that I can buy more stuff. So take care, and I hope to see you